Most people think instant coffee is all the same. Grab a jar, boil water, drink. But not all jars are equal. Some contain up to twice the acrylamide of brewed coffee, a chemical the IARC calls a probable carcinogen. Today we'll rank 7 supermarket instant coffees from worst to best based on bean quality, processing, and lab tests, so you know what to buy and what to skip. Nescafé Clásico is one of the best-selling instant coffees in America. It is also, and this is not a close call, the one with the most serious health profile of any mainstream brand tested. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. In a major independent consumer watchdog test in Hong Kong that evaluated 49 coffee products, Taster's Choice by Nescafé, the direct equivalent of Clásico, ranked highest in acrylamide content of any brand tested. The number was 790 micrograms per kilogram. That is more than twice the average for instant coffee, and it was the single highest acrylamide reading recorded for any brand in the study. How does a coffee end up with that much acrylamide? 3 compounding factors. First, Nescafé Clásico is made primarily from Robusta beans, a lower grade, higher caffeine variety that is harsher in flavor and sourced almost entirely from conventional large-scale farming with significant pesticide exposure. Second, it is dark roasted, and darker roasting means more acrylamide formation. The chemistry is straightforward. More heat over more time produces more of the compound. Third, and this is the one that separates cheap instant coffee from everything above it, Clásico is spray-dried. Spray drying is the cheapest processing method in the industry. Hot coffee extract gets blasted through a nozzle at extremely high temperatures to create a dry powder. It is fast, it is cheap, and it destroys the delicate aromatic compounds that make coffee taste like coffee. It also concentrates chemical byproducts. There is no organic certification, no fair trade, and no transparency around mycotoxin testing. The honest assessment at this level, the price you pay at checkout, is not the full price you are paying. Nescafé Clásico sits at the very bottom with the highest acrylamide levels and harsh, Robusta-heavy, spray-dried processing. Moving up slightly, the next jar, Folgers Classic Roast, shares some of these same risks, but adds a touch more familiarity for American coffee drinkers. Folgers is the most iconic coffee name in America. The red can, the morning ritual, the nostalgia. And the instant version performs nearly as badly as Clásico on the only metrics that matter for health. Independent testing flagged Folgers Classic Roast Instant at approximately 458 parts per billion of acrylamide, among the highest readings in the mainstream supermarket category and significantly above what you would find in a better processed product. It is spray-dried. It uses a blend of Robusta and Arabica beans with no organic certification. The label says 100% pure coffee, which is technically true in the sense that there are no additives, but it tells you nothing about bean quality, farming practices, or processing method. Here is what most people get wrong about dark roast instant coffee. The darkness of the roast is not just a flavor preference. Darker roasting intensifies the Maillard reaction, which is the same chemical process that generates acrylamide. A dark roast instant coffee will always contain more acrylamide than a lighter roast made from the same beans. When you combine dark roasting with spray drying, you are creating the optimal conditions for acrylamide concentration. Folgers does not publish mycotoxin testing data. It has been historically linked to sourcing from large-scale conventional farms with heavy pesticide use. The only genuine positive at this level is this. At normal consumption, 1 or 2 cups a day, this is unlikely to cause acute harm. But in a category with much better options at similar or only slightly higher price points, there is no compelling reason to stay here. Folgers shows how brand recognition can mask chemical and processing risks. Next, Café Bustelo takes us into bold, espresso-style territory with high caffeine and strong acidity, but still carrying the same acrylamide and spray-drying drawbacks. Café Bustelo has a genuinely devoted following. It's beloved in Latin American communities. It has picked up a huge urban following for its intense espresso-style hit, and it delivers exactly what it promises: a strong, dark, bold cup that wakes you up fast. The instant version uses 100% Robusta beans, a deliberate choice, not a cost-cutting shortcut. Robusta delivers more caffeine, more intensity, and a heavier body. Here's where the health conversation gets more nuanced than the levels below it. Café Bustelo is not necessarily worse than Folgers because of careless manufacturing. It is what it is by design. The problem is that what it is by design creates several real physiological risks. The caffeine content is approximately 150 milligrams per 12-ounce cup. To put that in context, an average cup of Arabica-based instant coffee delivers around 60 to 90 milligrams. You are not drinking instant coffee, you are drinking a near espresso level caffeine delivery vehicle in a large cup format. For anyone with cardiovascular sensitivity, anxiety disorders, sleep issues, or GERD, that is a meaningful distinction. Café Bustelo is also notably high in acidity, which can aggravate acid reflux in susceptible people. The dark roast and spray drying combination means the acrylamide profile sits in the same elevated range as Folgers. There is no organic certification, no fair trade certification, and no mycotoxin transparency. The honest assessment is simple. If you need the caffeine and you enjoy the flavor, Café Bustelo does what it says it does, but it is not a health-forward choice by any measure. After the robust punch of Bustelo, we step into a cleaner process with Nescafé Gold. Freeze drying replaces spray drying, and a smoother Arabica blend begins to show what careful processing can achieve. Here's something that might surprise you. Nescafé Gold is made by Nestlé, the same company that makes Classico at level 1, same parent brand, a fundamentally different product. The single most important difference is the processing method. Nescafé Gold is freeze-dried rather than spray-dried, and that distinction matters enormously. In freeze-drying, the brewed coffee extract is frozen and then dehydrated under vacuum, a gentle, low-temperature process that preserves the natural aromatic oils and flavor compounds without blasting them with heat. This also reduces exposure to the extreme temperatures that drive acrylamide formation. You're getting a cleaner product off the shelf because the process itself is cleaner. Gold also uses a blend of Arabica and high-quality Robusta rather than the Robusta heavy base of Classico. The Arabica inclusion delivers a noticeably smoother, rounder flavor profile with lower inherent bitterness. Independent taste testing has consistently placed Nescafé Gold in the upper half of supermarket instant coffees, not at the top, but meaningfully above the entry-level crowd. From a health standpoint, it is still a conventional, non-organic product. No published mycotoxin testing, no fair trade certification, but no additives, no dyes, no artificial flavors, just coffee processed better than the levels below it. The honest assessment, Nescafé Gold is a genuine upgrade from the bottom three. It is not the cleanest product available, but it is a reasonable mainstream option for someone who wants better quality without moving into premium territory. Nescafé Gold improves aroma and health profile, but Starbucks VIA pushes innovation further with microground Arabica beans, preserving more flavor compounds and reducing some chemical concerns. Starbucks VIA does something that no other mass-market instant coffee brand does, and it is worth understanding because it directly affects the health profile of the product. In addition to freeze-dried coffee extract, each VIA packet contains microground whole Arabica coffee beans, actual physically ground coffee particles suspended in the mix. Starbucks patented this process specifically because it preserves the essential oils, aromatic compounds, and flavor complexity that even freeze-drying partially loses. When you brew a VIA packet, you are not just dissolving a dehydrated extract, you are also brewing micro-ground whole coffee. The result tastes noticeably different from every other instant product on this list, more rounded, more layered, closer to a cup of filtered coffee. The 100% Arabica sourcing is a meaningful step up from the Robusta heavy blends below it. Arabica beans have lower caffeine content, a naturally lower acidity, and a smoother, less bitter flavor profile. They are also typically grown at higher altitudes under more controlled conditions than mass-produced Robusta. Here is what limits VIA at level 5 rather than pushing it higher. Starbucks sources from conventional non-organic farming for most of its VIA line, which means pesticide residue risk remains. And the dark roast VIA variants, Italian roast for example, carry meaningfully higher acrylamide levels than the medium roast options. If you drink VIA and you care about acrylamide, choose Pike Place or Columbia Roast. The medium roast version is a materially different product from a chemical standpoint. VIA shows the power of process and bean choice, but Waka Coffee demonstrates what specialty instant coffee can achieve: single origin Colombian Arabica, freeze-dried, medium roast, and a genuinely lower risk profile. Waka Coffee is where the category genuinely changes. This is not a legacy brand built on decades of marketing and institutional momentum. It is a modern specialty coffee company that entered the instant coffee market specifically because the founders believed the category could be done better, and the product reflects that. Waka is made from 100% Colombian Arabica beans, single origin, and freeze-dried, using what the brand describes as a spray freeze-drying hybrid that preserves quality at each stage. Multiple independent expert reviewers, including specialty coffee publications that normally refuse to take instant coffee seriously, name Waka the #1 overall instant coffee for flavor and quality. The single origin Colombian character comes through clearly, a fruity, slightly bright, medium-bodied cup that tastes like actual coffee rather than a simulation of it. From a health standpoint, single origin sourcing matters for a reason most people do not think about. When coffee is blended from multiple mass production origins, the mycotoxin and contamination risk compounds because you are pooling beans from dozens of supply chains. A single origin product from a known high-altitude Colombian growing region naturally carries lower contamination risk. High-altitude Arabica cultivation also requires fewer pesticides than lowland Robusta, even without formal organic certification. Waka contains no additives, no artificial flavors, no fillers. The medium roast profile keeps acrylamide levels meaningfully lower than the dark roast products at lower levels. Its one limitation is that it is not USDA certified organic. Some conventional pesticide residue risk remains. That single factor is what separates it from level 7. Finally, Waka sets the bar high, but Mount Hagen surpasses it in purity and ethical sourcing, combining USDA organic, fair trade, high-altitude Arabica, and freeze-dried processing for the cleanest supermarket instant coffee available. Mount Hagen is the clear winner in the supermarket instant coffee category. Not a close call. Let's go through why systematically. The beans are 100% Arabica, sourced from certified highland cooperatives in Papua New Guinea, Peru, and Honduras. High-altitude Arabica growing is significant not just for flavor. It naturally inhibits mold growth, which is the primary source of mycotoxin contamination in coffee, a risk the industry rarely discusses publicly. You are starting with a cleaner raw ingredient before processing even begins, It is USDA certified organic. That means no synthetic pesticides, no synthetic fertilizers, independently verified at every stage of the supply chain. For a product you consume daily, the organic certification eliminates a category of risk that every other brand on this list still carries. It is also fair trade certified, which means ethical sourcing, fair wages, and sustainable agricultural practices that speak to supply chain integrity as well as consumer health. The processing is freeze-dried, using a gentle, low-temperature method that preserves flavor compounds and minimizes new acrylamide formation. You are combining the cleanest possible raw ingredient with the gentlest possible processing method. The result on the health scorecard is the best profile available in mainstream retail. Health researchers and independent reviewers who evaluate both quality and safety consistently point to Mount Hagen as the reference standard for instant coffee. It regularly appears in the top tier of taste tests as well. Good Housekeeping, specialty coffee publications, and general consumer reviews all rated highly. Here is the one honest caveat. Organic certification does not guarantee formal mycotoxin testing. Mount Hagen does not publicly publish mold contamination data. However, the combination of high-altitude Arabica, growing conditions, and organic agricultural practices makes mycotoxin accumulation significantly less likely than in the lowland Robusta products at the bottom of this list. The absence of formal disclosure is a gap, not evidence of a problem. At $1 to $2 per serving, it costs more than Nescafe Classico. For a product you use every single day, the difference is under $1 per cup. The best instant coffee is the one that actually respects what it's putting in your body. Everything else is just hot water and a marketing budget. See you at the next video.